In today's video, we're going to be covering the Random Forest Regressor. I'm going to go over some of the theory before we end up coding it in Python with the help of the Scikit-Learn library. I'm also going to be using a Jupyter notebook, but feel free to use whatever you want, whether you use Kaggle, Google Colab, or even VS Code. So a little bit of theory behind the Random Forest Regressor. Some of you guys might be familiar with the Random Forest Classifier, which is going to be used for classification problems. They are both going to be very similar algorithms, except this time we're going to be taking a look at predicting numerical values instead of the classification as in before. Essentially what this is, it's going to be an ensemble of decision trees, which if you're not familiar with ensembling, that's when you combine multiple machine learning models together. Essentially what's going to happen with all these decision trees, it aggregates the results from those, and then it's going to determine the specific numerical values or essentially your predictions with this machine learning model. It sounds pretty complicated in theory, but when you practice it and code it out, it's actually not too bad. So I'm going to jump on my computer right now and let's start coding. So we're going to start off with importing in pandas. So import pandas as PD, shift and enter. Then what we're going to do is import in Seaborn, import Seaborn as SNS. Usually use Seaborn for visualization. I'm going to use it to grab a data set, which to show you all the different data sets, sns.get underscore data set names like this. And I was looking for something that deals with regressions, and I did find one. So we have health over here, and this is based off of like life expectancy. So we'll say health exp equals sns load underscore data set, and then inside over here you can just do health, right? And then lastly, if we want to take a look specifically at this, we can say like head, we'll put 10 in here. So we're going to get the year, we're going to have a bunch of different countries, so Germany, France, Great Britain, Japan, USA, right? All countries that have pretty good health overall. Well, no longer USA because a lot of us are getting fat, but in general, like pretty good health. Spending in USD, maybe that's per citizen, or I'm not too sure specifically, to be honest with you. But then we also have life expectancy. But just to show you also, if we go to tail, right, you can see that this goes all the way through 2019, but the spending is way up, right? America is now 10,855. So I do assume that this is probably per citizen in general, like what's spent on health each year. And it would make sense too, because health costs in US are crazy. In 2020, 11,859, that went up a whole thousand. Yeah, so all right. We have a little bit of basic information. This should be pretty easy to run by. So one thing that we're going to have to do first also, before we run any models, is we're going to have to change up over here this country. Now I'm going to use the lazy way, and I'm just going to use pandas get dummies, and this will change this into categorical information. And essentially what it's going to do is build out brand new columns, one for France, Great Britain, Japan, USA, right? France will be 1, everything else will be 0. In this column right here, Great Britain will be 1, everything else will be 0. So essentially that's what we're doing, right? Pretty basic. Okay, so let's do that. So all we have to do on that side of things is same thing, right? Health over here, we're going to say equals to pd.get underscore dummies, and then just throw your data frame in here once again. And all right, here we go. Boom, it's done. Now we need to split up our data. We're going to split up between X and also our Y. Very common to do, capital X. Then we're going to say health again, health exp. We're going to say over here dot drop. Now what we're going to be dropping is going to be the target, right? So this is a feature, this is a feature, this is a feature, this is our target. Essentially all of these is going to go up to over here, and it's going to be our predictions on the life expectancy a little bit later. So we need to drop this one over here, and this is pretty easy to drop. So all we can do is just go like that. Then we can throw this in over here. You have to put the single quotes around it. And then since we're going to be dropping this whole column, make sure you put axis equals 1. Boom, that is done. And I actually do have an error. So what is going to be my error on that side of things? Well, I should be life expectancy, and I didn't copy all that over. So make sure you copy what you want to drop, and we're good there. Now let's set up our Y, and our Y is going to be a little bit different because it's literally just going to be life expectancy, what we're predicting. And there we have it. So, all right, now we have both of those in here. Let's go into model selection, and we're going to do something called train test split. So from sklearn.model underscore selection, import train test splits. All right, and now we need to split up our data between a training and then also a testing set. So I usually do 80% train, 20% for the testing set. And then I'm also gonna put a random state so that way you guys can copy me. So x train, x test, y train, y test equals train test split. We have x, y, and then we can do our test size. And this is gonna be in decimal. So we're gonna say equals 0.2, and then random state equals 19. Okay, basic, great. Now we have our x train and x test, great. Now what we can do is gonna be bringing in our random forest regressor. So from sklearn, and then we can put ensemble because that's essentially where it's gonna be at. We can say import random forest regressor. Now we have that in here. And then I'm going to do RFR equals, you can literally just copy and paste this if you're too lazy to type it out like me right now. And then you can put your random state in here. I'm just going to put random state equals 13. Now we have that in here. Great. Next, we're going to have to fit our data. So we're going to fit our X train and then also our Y train. So RFR dot fit, and then put both of those in here. Pretty basic, right? X train and also our Y train. Probably way faster if I just type those out, but there we go. We have our random force over here. And now we can make predictions on it. So Y prediction or Y pred equals, and then you can do RFR.predict X test. Great. And now our predictions are going to be made. Now to explain what's going on, you might be confused because we set up Y train and Y test. What's this? Well, Y prediction is essentially going to take a look at Y test, and then we're going to run a few different metrics based off of Y test and also Y prediction. So there are two different things. I think of Y prediction is what we're like actually predicting. Y test is what the actual results specifically are. So build out a few new cells, and let's bring in a few metrics to take a look at. So metrics are basic, right? From sklearn.metrics, we're going to import in a few of them. So we're going to import in our mean absolute error. And then we're going to bring in our mean squared error. And then we're going to also bring in our R2 score. So these are three, arguably pretty much the most common stuff that you're going to see with regression problems. And the first two, we're going to try to get as close to 0 as possible. Our R2 score, we want to have as close to 1 as possible. So let's build these out. And a lot of this is going to also be copy paste, right? So absolute error, and then you just put in your Y prediction, and then you put in your Y test. And the beauty of it is we can just copy this 3 times. We can just go over here, grab our mean squared error, throw that over here, and then we can grab our R2 score and throw this over here. And you just made 3 lines of predictions like within 30 seconds, a minute, right? So again, very good, right? 0.25, 0.1, our predictions are very close. And with this 0.99, most people would be done with their model, but I also want to just show you a parameter grid as well as a few things that you can tweak because I'm a firm believer that you can always try to improve your models. It may take a bit of time though. So I always just call things param grid like this. Okay, we're going to say equal, and we're going to build this out, and let's start going through them. So the first one, and I'm going to show you 4 different parameters that are pretty common. Essentially, there's so many that you can take a look at for random forest regressor, and there's 2 different ways that you can do it. You just go random forest regressor Scikit-Learn, and right, just go over here, and it'll tell you everything that you can go through, right? And it tells you the defaults over here, and go through all these, and then it'll give you all this information on all the parameters. If you want to, you can also use ChatGPT just go in there and ask it for parameters, and it will also give you that, as well as a lot of information. So utilize your resources when you can. So I'm just going to show you very basic what these for, but it would take forever to go through every single one of them. So n estimators, and then we're just going to put 3 over here. We'll say 100, which is default, 200 and 300. Up next, we'll do our max depth. So max depth, put that over here, 10, 20, 30, comma here at the end. Up next, we're going to put min samples split, and we'll explain some of these in a second, right? Or if you want to skip ahead, you can just go to the Scikit-Learn documentation. So 2, 5, 10, spaces out, kind of ugly. And lastly, min samples leaf, min samples leaf. And then we'll put those over here. Put like 1, 2, and also 4. So n estimators is going to be the number of trees, essentially the decision trees, if you know how a random forest regressor, which you should because you watched the intro, or at least I hope you did, right? Max depth is going to be the depth of each of the different specific trees. So then we have min samples split and also min samples leaf. So for the split side of things, we're looking at the number of samples required to split an internal node. And then on the leaf side of things, the minimum number of samples required to be at the leaf node. Okay, so those are the 4 that we're going to be taking a look at. Shift and enter, we have our parameter grid. And before we can actually take a look at the hyperparameter tuning, we're going to have to do one more thing. We're going to have to bring in our grid search CV. So it's again from model selection. So from sklearn.model selection, import in, we're going to go grid search CV, just like that. And then I like creating pretty much a new model. I call them like, so I have RFR over here. I'm going to do RFR underscore CV. We're going to see that's equal to, then you can just copy this grid search CV, and a few things we're going to have to do. So first, we're going to have to take a look at our estimator. So I'm just going to put RFR over here, and there's 2 ways you could do it. Like you could do estimator equals RFR, or you could just put RFR in there. Same thing with param grid. So you could just call it param grid like this. Since I have it here, it should be fine. Or you can say param grid is going to be equal to param grid. Now we're going to look at our cross validation. I'm just going to put 3 because we have a lot over here. And how this is multiplied out. So we have 3, right, times 3, 9, times 3, 27, 81, 243 times, essentially this is going to be run and try to find the best parameters for. So just as kind of a heads up on that, if you put a high CV value, it could really balloon up quite fast. Next thing we're going to do is take a look at how it's scoring. So this will give us our best opportunity. And there, again, like Scikit-Learn documentation, there's a ton of different ways that you could score. I'm just going to put neg mean squared error. And the reason why I put that is if you take a look above, right, one of the things that we take a look at is the mean squared error. So this will help us like getting a better mean squared error score. Kind of a hint on that side of things. And lastly, to make this run faster, you can just do n jobs equals -1, not 1, but -1, and enter over here. Now this runs fast. It'll run slow once we fit our data. So RFR CV, we can put fit, and we're gonna have to refit our data, our X train and Y train, because this is technically a new model. So Y train over here. This will take a second, and then we'll skip forward until this is fully done training. Okay, and now we're gonna take a look at our results again from this over here. So let's copy in a few things. So we have our Y prediction. This time we're gonna say RFR, we're gonna put underscore CV.predict X test, and then we're gonna grab R3 over, right? So mean absolute error, mean squared error, and R2 score. So grab that, grab this, and then our R2 score again. We're trying to get close to 0 Z's as possible, and our R2 we're trying to get as close to 1. And your mean absolute error and mean squared error are ways of taking a look at the difference between your Y test and also Y prediction, all the different data points on those. So a little bit different calculation specifically on them, but we have a 0.2508, which 259 above, so better. Then over here, 0.09 comparison to 0.10, better as well. And lastly, for R2 score, 0.991 in comparison to 0.9905. So I hope we learned something brand new in this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm publishing about 3 data science videos every single week to document my journey from moving from a data analyst to a data scientist. By the way, the next video I think that you should go check out is this one over here on the lasso regression.